This is Plan Commission. Correct. It was posted as a special meeting for the Plan Commission to have a public hearing regarding the TIF bond amendment.
All right, the hour of 6 o'clock having arrived, I'd like to call the special meeting of the Columbus Plan Commission to order. Matt, will you please take the roll?
Sure. Traxler.
Here.
Basham.
Here.
Monday.
Here.
Highland.
Here.
And Eichler.
Here.
Mayor Arnold indicated she'd be here, but we do have a
All right, very good. Quorum being present. Item 3 is notice of open meeting. This meeting was appropriately posted and noticed in accordance with state law. Item 4 says nominate and appoint the chairperson of the planning commission.
This was totally the first part of the agenda, and I will make sure this doesn't happen again. So
All right, we'll move along past item 4, which
I like you as the chair,
awkwardly
Uriah.
gets us to item 5, which is approve agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve this agenda. I'll suggest that we accept number 4.
yep.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda minus number 4 of nominating and appointing the chairperson for the Plan Commission.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. This is the agenda we'll work with. All right. Item 6 is approve the minutes from the August 12th Plan Commission meeting. These are included in your packets. After you've given a moment
Make a
to...
motion to approve the minutes from Thursday, August 12th.
I have a motion from Traxler
I'll second.
and a second. Any discussion? All those signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed. Minutes approved.
Just a point of order, Mary is on Zoom. She just logged in, so I
Oh,
just, I know.
very good.
We started the
Welcome.
meeting, so I just wanted her to know that we've done roll call and the meeting has begun, so.
All right. Welcome, Mayor. All right. Can you hear us, Mayor?
Yes, oh, I can hear
Oh,
you, yes.
great. Okay. All right. Moving on to item 7, citizen comments. This is open time for any citizens present in person or online to give general comments.
There is one individual online that, Dee Bennett, they were actually at the attended the joint review board meeting as well. I don't know, is that a colleague of yours? No. If they want to comment now, or they can comment during the public hearing if they choose to do so.
Isn't that the cable guy?
Oh, you're logged in as well, Dave. I apologize. I should have, I guess I should have put 2 and 2 together on that one. Oh, he's 3 days on the job, so I guess I'm, thanks, Andy. Thank you. Totally over my head. So I guess there's nobody online or in the council chambers that are present to speak. And just for the record, I have not received any comments on for or against the amendment. I guess I can add that during the next item, but anyways.
Okay, none present for general comments. Moving on to item 8, unfinished business. There's none listed on the agenda. Anybody aware of any that we need to deal with tonight?
No.
Okay. All right, hearing none for number 8, we'll move on to number 9, new business. Item A, public hearing regarding the proposed amendment of boundaries and project plan for tax incremental district number 5. Hearing notice was published on September 8. So, all right, I will,
So at the last meeting, we started having, instead of just having the chairperson open the public hearing, just add some I guess, clarity, a motion and a second to actually open the hearing, and then a motion and a second to actually close the hearing, and I think that worked well, so I would urge to continue that. So if we could have a motion to open the meeting, open the public hearing, excuse me.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second to open the hearing. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the public hearing is open. Matt, do you have any presentation or?
I will start, and then I'll kick it over to is Jonathan, right? Jonathan from Ellers to kind of go through the project plan. So this was after the city implemented TIF 6, which was the downtown TIF district, which was created earlier this summer. Staff was looking at TIF 5. There's been some general interest in this area, and when we created TIF 5, we were at that 12% TIF capacity limit, and we really couldn't add the area we wanted to right out of the bat. So we kind of left it and wanted to amend it as a project dictated. Staff was talking through things, and we thought with the timing right now that it just made sense to have this amendment and make the amendment before the September 30th deadline. The key for the September 30th deadline is then the values in the TIF revert to 1/1 of 21, and if it's after 9/30, then the value is 1/1/22. So we felt like the time was right, and an amendment process is a little simpler than creating a TIF district. So we felt the time was right, and it just made sense for these areas. There are no specific projects or proposals that have been received that's being considered as a result of this amendment. It's just, these are areas that, as I said, there's been some general interest in this area, and that was the direction that we received from council, is to move forward with an amendment for these 5 parcels. So with that, I would ask Jonathan to come up and kind of go through the project plan, so everybody has a good idea of what is in the project plan.
Great, thanks, Matt. So I will not walk through the project plan. I'll do a light jog through it,
That
so
works.
I'll hit the key information, but we don't have to read everything. So TID number 5 was created as a mixed-use district on September 17th of 2019, and as Matt alluded to, it may not have had the exactly the full vision that the TID wanted to fulfill. This amendment is being done to add territory to the existing district, as well as to amend the categories, project costs, and locations of projects from the original project plan. So this amendment will add $1.5 million to the projected expenditures. The original project plan was $1 million of expenditures. Additionally, the amendment projects that there will be $7.1 million of additional value made possible by amending the project costs and the boundary for this district. So we'll look closer at the list of projects for that, but first off, on section 2, page 7, is a map of TID 5. The purple parcels are the existing TID 5 parcels, and the blue parcels are the parcels to be added through this amendment. And on page 11, section 4, are the sort of the numbers and specifics about the parcels to be added through this amendment. So there'll be 5 parcels added in this amendment, 3 of which are owned by the city of Columbus already, so they have no value. 2 of them are not owned by the city, but they are currently in TID 3, which is expected to close in the next couple of years. So the value for those parcels in TID 3 does not count towards the calculation of the 12% rule because it's already being counted in the TID 3 existing incremental value. But altogether, this is 10 acres being added to the district. The next page shows, page 12 shows the added parcels through this amendment as well as the original, just to show the full parcel list there. And the following page is that 12% TID capacity analysis, which shows that the city is in compliance, is not the existing district values are not exceeding that $60.5 million of, which would represent 12% of equalized value. And as I mentioned, there's no value subject to that test that it's being added through this amendment. Section 6 is a list of, with descriptions of potential projects that could be undertaken in the TID. It is not an exhaustive list, but it's meant to be broad so that there's some flexibility within the plan for the city should the right opportunity come along to act on that. Now, to look at the list of projects that are estimated for TID 5, page 23 is the original project plan list of projects. When this was created in 2019, this was done with quite a bit of flexibility built into the project list. There were 3 options presented in the project plan. So this is all of them are for $1 million of expenditure, and the first option was for that $1 million to be spent on infrastructure only. The second option was for it to be spent on development incentives only. And the third option was for a mixture of those two things. Similarly, the amendment on page 24 shows $1.5 million of expenditure and is being shown in the same way with the all of it going to infrastructure, all of it going to development incentives, or a mixture of both. Page 26 shows the expected development assumptions. As Matt mentioned, there are no specific projects going forward at this time, but this is meant to show a hopeful growth in development. So the current value is negative on the district, and the hope is to see about $7.1 million of value added in part because of this amendment. And the next page of this project plan shows that if that $7 million were to be added, on the left side you see values added, then the orange column shows how much increment would be generated each year. So that ramps up to about $164,000 per year of increment in the district if that $7 million of value would be realized. So the following page is the cash flow projection. On the left side is the increment, so that $165,000 per year coming into the district. Under the green heading is the proposed expenditures, and for illustrative purposes, it's shown as a $1.5 million development incentive, or PAYGO development incentive, and an additional $660,000 PAYGO incentive, as well as some administrative costs. So with the value of development shown and the expenditures planned for in this cash flow, it shows on the right side that annually it would start to become cash flow well, and then it would start to build a cumulative balance to be able to close early. And in this model, we show closing in 2036 after having paid off the obligations. So that's really the meat of the project plan amendment. If there's any specific questions, I'm happy to address them. What's in front of you is approval of this project plan and the boundary as amended. And then just,
I have
yeah.
a quick question.
Go ahead.
I'm just looking on page 26, and you threw that, in 2023, there's some development prospects. Are any of these prospects include the fire station? Are you calculating that into the fire station property? And how does that impact it if it is a city-owned property?
Matt, I don't know if you want to,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I guess at this point, we don't have a formal proposal for the fire station. The rationale behind including this area is that, at this point, we don't have a formal project developed for what the fire station may or may not look like in this area. So we don't know if they need all 3.2 acres or if they only need a portion of that. So the rationale was, this area could have some value. It doesn't really hurt us to put this area in. So that's why we're including this area in the TIF district. So the projections there are more based on, I think, other development that may happen in that area. But there is the potential for, depending on what the fire station looks like, for additional development, commercial development in that area. If that makes
Right,
sense.
and does being a city-owned property, if that, say, the fire station went there and it was, the full lot was developed, does that affect the TIF, does the value is it still the same?
Correct. It doesn't have any impact. So when we created TIF 6, we actually included some of the city-owned property as well. So
Okay.
there's really no harm in doing that, based on my experience. I don't know if Jonathan wants to.
Yeah, I mean,
opinion on that. That's different, but.
I agree. I would say that there's a certain advantage to including city-owned properties in TIDs that may potentially become private developments later, because then you collect or you gain the advantage from that 0 to market value during the life of the TID.
Okay, all right, thank you, that helped me.
Matt, I have a related question.
Okay.
So, yeah, on the page, that one and the next one, you've got the, development prospect in year 4, 5, and 6, and 7. What was the rationale for adding those? How are you estimating that you would get that development in those years? Because obviously that impacts the future cash flow and the closing of the district. So what's the rationale for, making those estimates?
So when TIF 5 was created, we actually had a, probably not a formal proposal, but we had some serious talks with Nathan Roberts about an expansion that he had, and he actually had plans developed. Unfortunately, right after TIF 5 was created, the Hughes Company went out of business, and he found it, or I shouldn't say he found it, that sounds, but he ended up buying that building because it was right across the street. It was smoother. I think it was quicker than building the project that he had in mind. So with that, he's already filled up that building, and he's still leasing from us across the street in the Countryside building. He leases about 20,000 square feet from us, and he's got that building full. And I do think he's got another expansion upcoming. I think some of these projections were based off the original project plan, so they probably could be tweaked a little bit, but still we're anticipating some large manufacturing or industrial development in this. And there's other opportunities. I know Components Plus is in this TIF district. We with the addition of the parcel kind of behind the McDonald's, I think there's a chance that something might pop there. And then the United Cooperative properties for sale, and they have 9 acres, and you could easily divide that into 2 lots or have a bigger industrial area back in there, since it is all zoned industrial. So that's kind of what those numbers were based off of. Some were based off of things we had a fairly good idea of, and some were more, I guess, estimates based on things that might happen, based on what we knew at the time.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Perhaps I have a rather elementary question, but if I don't know, I have to ask. What is an example of, I guess, I think $5,400 administrative cost per year? What would an example of those costs be?
So you're talking about the administrative costs built into the TIF district? So that's going to be for things like myself and probably the city administrator to help, market, take calls, help making sure that any incentives, developer agreements that are they're being followed, and, that our finance director and whomever, or treasurer, I should say, are writing the checks to make sure we're leaving up to our end of the developer agreement. So there is a lot of paperwork that goes with this, and that's usually what's covered by the administrative costs.
Thank you. I just had no idea, so I wanted an
Nope,
explanation.
that's fine.
Hey, Matt, this is Brad.
Yep, go.
Where was the proposed fire department or building possibly going? I'm not familiar with that.
At this time, there's no proposal to move the fire station from where it's at. And the city has not purchased land elsewhere for it, and at this point, until I'm told otherwise by council, the directive is still to have a fire station at that property. And that being said, we haven't gone through and done a full set of plans yet for what that will look like. So as I said, alluded to earlier, there's 3.2 acres there. I don't know if the fire station needs 3.2 acres. It might only need 1.7 acres, which means there's land there for development if they don't utilize the entire site. So that was part of the rationale behind incorporating this into the district.
And, yeah, exactly. Where is that lot, or where's that area? I'm just not familiar with that thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it is, as you're looking at the map on, was it page 7, you said?
6 or 7, yeah.
Let me go back here and find
8.
it. It's 8?
7.
So if you go to page 7 of the project plan,
Yep.
it is the area kind of south of James Street that's in the teal.
It's the countryside for old property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you may not realize this, but there's actually Meister Drive that goes right in the middle. So there's actually 3 parcels there. One would be on the east side of Meister Drive, and then there'd be 2 on the west side of Meister Drive.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
I have a couple of comments, Matt. Number one, I guess just for another thing to add to the advantage of having those city-owned parcels in there, having that area part of the TID not only has the advantage of potentially capturing any increment that some of those parcels might have if they were privately developed, but it also has the advantage of making that an eligible location for expenditures, right, for the infrastructure that might go in for a facility, right? So there's an advantage that way also. And then this question is kind of a financial one. Reading between the lines here, if this is expected to generate close to $2.5 million of revenue, and we're really only outlaying $1.5 million, some people might look at that as, well, we're, underspending on our potential. You could also look at it as a hedge against, not having as much development happen there and we don't get overcommitted. So there's kind of 2 ways to look at that, right?
Well, so to clarify on that, there's 2 real project lists here. One is for $1 million and one is for $1.5 million. So we're not showing one combined list. We're showing 2, one for the original $1 million. Yeah. So it is expended, or showing expense of $2.5 million, but.
Okay, that's an important clarification.
Yeah.
So I guess to sort of fashion my former statement to conform to that, is that really then, to be able to spend that amount, we do have to realize this much increment in this area. So, just to be clear on that to everybody.
Correct. But one thing to note, that generally speaking, the projects don't happen unless there's gonna be increment generated. So it's one of those things where the projects are gonna, the projects are gonna drive the costs, if that makes sense. I mean, these are, putting this.
That's not precisely how the but-for test works, but that's the reason for the but-for test.
Yeah, and then putting this down on a piece of paper doesn't commit us to doing
Right.
$2.5 million worth of projects. I mean, it does, it gives us the ability to do $2.5 million worth of projects. So that's, I think, something that I just want everybody to understand, so. I guess with that, I mean, at this point, we can ask for comment. I know there's nobody from the public present, but we should probably ask the 3 times and then close the public hearing. And then it sounds like some of these questions probably could move to the deliberation portion of the agenda.
All right. Any members of the public, either present in person or online, have any additional comments they wish to make during this public hearing? All right, I'll ask a second time. Are there any comments anyone wishes to make during this public hearing? And a third time, any comments anyone wishes to make during this public hearing? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I will make a motion to close this hearing.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. We'll move on to item 9B, which is consideration and possible action on the resolution designating proposed amended boundaries and approving a project plan amendment for tax incremental district number 5, City of Columbus, Wisconsin.
So, in your packets, you'll have a resolution. It'll be resolution 3-21 from the Plan Commission for the amendment of TIF 5. I don't believe, I mean, we need to read the entire resolution. It's in your packet. It's the 3rd and 4th page. I probably put it out of order. But and this is I should note, this is similar to the resolution that we've used for past TIF creations. And just for your note, Uriah, that assuming this gets passed, I do have a copy that if you could sign before you leave as the chairperson. Okay. But I'll wait till. And I guess I should also note that if there's still any questions about the project plan, you can ask them now and have them clarified before any action's taken.
I'll give everyone a few more seconds to read through the resolution. All right, as everyone finishes up, are there any further questions?
Not here.
I guess I did have one question, if nobody's got any more. Was I hearing correctly that these 2 parcels are currently part of TID 3?
Yes.
So how does that work? Doesn't that then mean TID 3's got to be amended?
So you're allowed to overlay a district on top of an existing district. And the way it works is that when the action to, the year of the action that does that overlay, it freezes the value that was created in the old district in place. And then any new value that goes on those parcels is attributable to the overlaid district. So essentially, upon approving this amendment, all of the value that has been created in TID 3 on those two parcels is frozen at that point, and it will not increase in TID 3, and that's that. Now, any other value, if there were any increases on those parcels, would go into TID 5.
So the boundary for 3 stays the same,
Stays
but
the
the
same.
value doesn't change.
Correct, that's correct. And
So right now, they're both in 3 and 5, or provided that this is approved, they would both be in 3 and 5.
yeah,
Okay,
For about 2 years.
for about 2 years.
right,
TID
right,
TID
yeah.
3 expires in 2023.
And only that value that was, at the time of amendment, only that value remains in TID 3. Any new value is,
Right, okay.
Five, yep.
I get it, that was just kind of
yeah, it's
weird, yeah. all right. Any other questions or comments? All right. Hearing none, Matt, I need a little guidance. This is a resolution by the planning commission,
Correct.
not a recommendation to council like we usually do. So,
No, yeah, it's basically, you're looking for a motion to approve the resolution as,
all right.
resolution that's in your packet.
Can I just say I'm looking for a motion of what Matt just said? No. I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution as printed in the packet.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Matt, is it appropriate to take a roll vote on this?
Sure, I can do that. Heikram,
Aye.
Bashan,
Aye.
Tylen,
Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Arnold.
Aye.
I think I got everybody right.
You didn't get me, but
Oh, Monday, I'm sorry.
aye.
I did not hit, good thing I missed you, because I didn't have you written down the first time for roll call, so, sorry about that.
All right, I hear a 6-0 vote in favor.
Yes.
All right. We move on to item number 10, which is to adjourn. I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.